Okay, welcome to Wednesday meditation. Find a nice comfortable spot. And wherever you are, just make yourself even more comfortable. Wiggle your hips or get your back into a supported position. And once you do, just take a few moments to breathe and settle. And as you settle into where you are, just breathe in lightly without any resistance. Letting go as soon as you feel the call to exhale. And let's slowly build the breath into a deeper, fuller breath. Starting with the intention to fill the lungs, breathing into the armpits. And then letting go. And work through the breath in this area for at least 3 breaths. And when you're ready, start to bring the breath in for a count of 4. And then hold at the top and exhale for a count of 5. And when you're ready, start to move the breath into the diaphragm. Just building on the count of the inhalation to an inhalation of perhaps 6 and an exhalation on a count of 8. Remembering to pause in between the top of the breath and the bottom of the exhalation. And the reason that we're focusing now on opening up the diaphragm is that when there is stress perceived or real for the body, the diaphragm will be the extra capacity for you to breathe into should you need to flee or fight. And so working with that stress response of fight, flight or freeze, we just want to actually calm the body by giving it the time and peace to access all aspects of the physiology that we use when we feel under stress. And we don't really use the diaphragm as it's meant to be used. The diaphragm is more fully open and engaged when we are relaxed and still, because in contrary to what we should be able to do with our lungs and diaphragm in moments of high stress, we tend to do the opposite and breathe more shallow, more quickly, without opening up the full capacity in the lungs, let alone the diaphragm. So this breathing is just an experience of what is available to you. And as you step down your awareness in the body, you can breathe through the lungs, the diaphragm, and breathe into the belly. And the more that you do these deep, slow inhalations and deep, slow exhalations, the more you send the signal to your body that you are safe, you are supported, there is no perceived threat, but also an opportunity to assess your level of resting stress, because you will feel within you where there is restriction. You will feel where you have habitually held your breath, and you will have to consciously work through that by taking deeper inhalations and slowing down the outward breath. And if you, like me, have any part of your body that is tight and sore and out of alignment, your breath will find the tension in those spaces and accentuate all of that disharmony so that it can send its message to you. And with the relaxation of the polyvagal nerve, you set yourself up to be able to receive the messages that your body is sending you. So keep the breathing slow and even, and feel deeply into those spaces where there is a message being sent, and acknowledge where in the body the information needs to be interpreted and integrated. And we don't want to rush this, because these are the ways that we set ourselves up for healing. Healing does not happen in a hurry. It can, but generally to receive fully the blessings of your self-healing, you need to tend to all those places within you and all of the thoughts that come that are not chosen by you but need to be understood and heard. And as I was taught on my journey, listening is healing. So self-healing must in turn require deep listening to yourself, listening to your body as your body is grounded and walks through this life, carrying your soul. So listening to the body can be more insightful than being carried away with the thoughts that come into your head, because the mind is not grounded. That takes some intention and some work. The mind is open to receiving all kinds of signals. And there is much in the world being transmitted that is not serving your highest good. And there is much being transmitted that is not your truth. So we listen to the body and we let the mind rest, knowing that some of the thoughts that are brought forward are not originating from our inner truth, our inner divine spark. Some thoughts are transmitted, some are false and implanted in you. Sending the signal that there is some kind of threat out in the world. Our perceived threat often comes through our thoughts, and eventually, if we think too much with negative association, our body will respond in kind. Yet we can flip that on its head by just taking the time to breathe deeply, to take the journey with our embodied knowing. And without having to consciously understand all that is being said through the tissues and the bones and the nerves. There is a level of acceptance that comes with making yourself still and opening yourself to the signals that come from the world when you are grounded in it. So if you haven't already, send your roots down through the soils of the earth, through the waters of the earth, connecting into the root system and the crystal core heart center of the planet. And as you do this and connect deeply to Mother Earth, keep that breathing deep and slow, and set the intention as you connect to Mother Earth that this is the way in which you mean to be. That your intention is to live life in harmony with gratitude for all that Gaia provides, and with gratitude for this incredible body that carries your soul through each day. And acknowledging that the reason we are on planet Earth is to live an embodied experience. So it is so important to remember that the billions of cells that you are constantly in communication with all the other creatures who are here having an experience in a body too. And that when we step away from a busy mind and ground in, connecting to Mother Earth and all our fellow creatures, brothers and sisters in the animal and spiritual realms, those who are here in a body are here to share the journey, to provide opportunities for us to connect and take delight in one another. And that there is this beautiful ribbon of love connecting each and every being. And that each and every being is valuable and important. So whether your connection is with a cicada or a child, you can feel the delight of just being in communication with one another. And there is a sense of responsibility to meet others in your most grounded and most embodied way. To meet others through your heart center energy, allowing your hearts to connect one to another. Yala kuala hamia kuala hamia la tuitia e kumba ishkuya, e la hamba ikiala, e tuela e shukutukuya te kalahama aya, e siesula, e siesula ala kamba, e ayala ka. So that sense of responsibility is actually a joyful thing. It's permission to step aside from the busyness of the world and come back into the stillness and connect deeply first to yourself. Making sure that you look after all that you need to be safe and spontaneous. And we're talking about much more than happiness here. When we take care of our own needs and allow for spontaneity, we can face anything coming toward us with a sense of wonderment. Everything can be an opportunity for a joyful connection. And even connections that aren't so joyful can be seen with humour and wisdom. So this deep listening to yourself, to your body, is your way of taking radical personal responsibility, knowing that your vibrational imprint will be what is felt by others, and that you love others so much that you will do this work every day to be sure that you receive and connect to them from a place of wholeness, from a place of peace, and the deep love that you show yourself is just a natural extension of the deep love of all. A kiamba elo shkua la hawa. A kia la kumba e tuku e takala haya ha. Hoi she la me kia la kutua tala ha me e kuia karuia. Take a deep breath and relax. A shila ko te kutiamba e ka ala e koa. A siala ko e a hao. A siala hao me shikutu ko e la hao e a ka. A bitu ko e shiala e a ka e a siti ala hoa. Ekiambaya Akiakala Iakala Ishua Takamba Iha Utotai Hambaya Isila Koya Isila Koya Hambay Shukutkoya Takai. Take another deep breath and relax. And send out your deep gratitude to Source energy, to God's Source. Knowing that God's Source is the amalgamation of all consciousness, all being, but that this universal consciousness requires an intention of looking after ourselves and one another. For what we see before us and our connection to another is simply a reflection of how we take care of ourselves, how we treat ourselves. And as we journey to become more present and more connected, we will keep having to remind ourselves. We have to step away from the world around us, just to come back to the truth of the stillness. The space where we are able to listen and heal. And that one day, without even thinking about it, we will find ourselves always in alignment. Always bringing our healing out for others to heal from. Shikatakamba etika la kuya takamba itak la kuya tafia soya ayalaka. In this experience we are having in our separate bodies is a joyful and incredible opportunity to remember that being self-centered is not a negative thing. Centering yourself is one of the greatest kindnesses you can do for yourself and all others. So today, as we start to return to the world around us, I'm going to ask you to remain centered in yourself and hold on to that feeling, knowing you are helping so many who also need some time to listen to themselves, some time to do their healing work, so that we may all step into the same vibration and allow something better for one another, knowing that sometimes we will hold that vibration and sometimes we may not, but others will, and in this way we help each other. We are a constant reminder to one another of where we are going. And how we will do it together when we look after our very centered selves. E tu mai la kura e tu kumba roye shuktukoya la hawa. E si la kumba ishkia hawa. E si la kura mai tu koe te kalaha o mai sikia hawa. E aha. E koe tu kumba ishi la hawa e sia. E tu kumba aya. Ai te kalaha ma e tu koe te kalaha niana. E ala kumana nene na mga hawa. E kwa me te koe shikra hawa. Take a deep breath and relax. And return your awareness to your breathing, letting go of the need to breathe so deeply. Now that the body is more easy, you can let the breath come and go with softness and surrender. And when you feel ready, I invite you to step back through the door into the very physical body that you are in this experience. And just give thanks for a moment for all the cells that make you possible, for all the cells that carry your consciousness and combine together in agreement to be this body and this soul. And try to remember to give thanks to your body just a few times a day, especially when it says there's something I need to tell you, and come in the form of discomfort or disharmony. Take the time to stop and listen. When you're ready, take a few deep breaths in your own time and come back to being fully awake. Namaste.